How's it going, everyone? We're going to take a look at the Nendoroid of Axel from Kingdom Hearts 3. So Axel has a ton of fans out there, so this should be quite exciting for those guys. Though I should say I do also have the firey Nendoroid as well, but that's going to be in a separate video. They came out quite similar, or they got delivered to me in quite similar time frame. So yeah, we're going to take a look at Axel in this video. I have covered the other Kingdom Hearts Nendoroids in the past, so that includes the various Sora that have been released, Mickey Mouse and so on. And I also will cover more coming out after this as well. So I got mine from Hobby Genki. If you're in the US, you might be able to get it from Good Smile Company directly. I'm not sure if it's still listed there or open there. And then maybe stuff like Amazon and other places like that. If you're in Asia, you'll probably have an easier time. And if you're in the UK like me, yeah, you're going to have to use someone like Hobby Genki or something and import it that way. Sadly, these aren't the most widely available Nendoroids. Kingdom Hearts stuff tends to be a bit trickier and less widely available because of the whole Disney thing as well, but I managed to get my hands on it, so I'm pleased with that. So here's the packaging for Nendoroid Axel. It's quite similar to the Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff that came out in the past, so Sora and Riku, for example. So you got the whole kind of emblem, iconography, and a monogram stuff going on the pattern. I really like this pattern work, not just on this particular packaging, but just on a lot of the kind of products that they release. For example, the suitcases, those look really awesome as well, right? Or bags, apparel, those kind of things. It's really nice kind of pattern work. The rest of the packaging is what you would expect. The side panels, top panel, bottom panel are just going to have different pictures and portraits of the character. But let's get this guy open. So here's Axel out of the box with all the option parts. I have kind of posed up the actual figure itself. It doesn't come quite like that when you take it out of the box, but we'll go through that. First up is going to be the base stand that comes with most other Nendoroids as well. So you got the kind of base with the holes in them, and then you get a spare neck joint here, which you can use, which is going to be also in the same flesh tone as the figure itself. In terms of arms, the actual figure out of the box will have two straight arms and the fists attached. So this is basically the left arm that I've just removed for the sake of, well, I was playing around with it. So this is how it's going to be when you take it out of the box. It'll be this arm attached with this shoulder piece. This shoulder piece can be detached from the main arm, and then same with the hands as well. So this is the black fist here, the gloved fist. You can interchange that with the other hands too. In terms of robe design and the way it's sculpted, it pretty much, I think, I recall, I haven't got the Roxas figure out, but it looks pretty much the same as that Roxas one. The actual design of Axel, his kind of Organization 13 robe, is a little bit more tapered and skin tight. You can kind of tell his silhouette from a mile off compared to the others, right? But I feel for this one, they kind of just went with the baggy-ish look that Roxas had. Maybe it just kind of cuts costs a bit, and it's just maybe too much work to do for this kind of small form factor. The other alternate left arm that Axel comes with is going to be one that has a hand pre-attached. This hand can be removed from this arm, but if you notice, actually, this peg here is shaped and it only fits into this particular arm. So this arm only really has one use, and you can't even change the shoulder bit here. It's just one plain piece plus the hand, and this is actually sculpted to hold on to one of his little things here, his weapons, which the name escapes me right now, but that's going to be hold on to that, which I'll show you in just a second. He comes with a couple of different left hands as well. So you've got one left hand, which is just going to be, again, to hold on to those little wheels that he's got, his wheel weapons. So you can remove this and use it on a different arm, or that bent arm there, for example. He comes with a right fist, which is the default that comes out of the box, similar to the left one. He comes with a right hand, and this is a single one actually, which is open palm. You can kind of pose this as kind of like shrugging pose or on his waist, that kind of thing. He only comes with one, which is a shame. I sometimes do prefer to have them in pairs, but yeah, it's one only. Then he comes with the right hand to also hold on to the wheel weapons as well. So that one's single hand there. And then his final arm and hand is going to be the actual sea salt ice cream. So this one is a bent arm here, and this actually also has a different shoulder piece shaped or angled slightly differently here. So you can swap that in later. So as I mentioned, so the actual arm that he's got on him right now is the default one, not the hand. And that one's got the more angled shoulder piece like this one on the left arm here. So this one's a bit more straight, and then you can just kind of have his hand like this, for example. You can swap the hand for this one as well. So if you want to swap it for him holding the pinwheel weapon, you can do that too, or the Keyblade, that's fine too. But here's a look at the sea salt ice cream there. You can't take this out of the hand directly. It is just on the hand itself. In terms of faces, he does come with two additional ones. So actually, this one on the right is the default one, which is just going to be a plain kind of smirk that he's got on it. The actual details on the face, the eyes, eyebrows, smile, look good. It's all clean, like most of the Nendoroids. It's all going to look quite clean. The eyebrows are very, very dark red, almost a brown, depending on how you perceive color. So yeah, on the camera it looks like a dark red. To me personally, when I look at it directly, it looks more like a brown, but it's got a bit of a reddish tint, so it's fine. Looks good either way. Same with the eye color, that looks good too. The secondary head then is going to be one way. He's got his one eyebrow raised and the other eye lower down and slightly closed as a result, which is good. And his mouth is a little bit open. So I do like this one because it has a bit more expression to it. I just really like this kind of expression. It looks really good, and it just looks very good when you attach it to the actual figure itself with the hair and everything. So even still looks good. You will notice though that something is missing. Something is definitely missing, and that's going to be the teardrops that come down under his eyes for all his faces. But that's a separate thing, which we can talk about right now. So this actually comes on a separate sheet as stickers. So you can see you get 18 of these, so 9 on each row. I've already used 2, and that's because a pair is going to be applied to that face in the back right there. Now, as stickers, they are very, 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 very tiny. So when you do take these off and you want to apply them to the face, just be in a clean room and a room that you are sure you're not going to lose these or have any strong breeze or happening in the background. Also make sure probably to use tweezers, something that you can kind of grasp or handle these stickers, tiny stickers, with ease. And yeah, just be careful with them. So I've only attached it or stuck them onto one face. I didn't even want to do that, but I thought, you know what, it was missing. The actual reverse teardrops not being on the face just seemed a bit weird to me, and so I wanted to add them in. So they've given you the choice to either keep Axel plain, and it's an option, you know, it does happen in the series as well, so he does come without the teardrops. So you can add it if you want, or you can leave it if you want as well. So I've done it and I've attached it to him. We'll show you that in a little bit more detail later, and how it looks when you get closer up. But I'm not going to actually attach them to the face here, because it is a lot of careful kind of patience needed to just align it properly, and I don't think I got that quite right here. But let's talk about the wheel weapons that you got. I always forget the name of these, and I need to check this out. So I'll put the name on screen once I look it up later. But these are his weapons that he comes with. So he comes with the Keyblade, you can see at the back, plus these. So that's pretty cool. The fact that he comes with a pair of them, and it comes in a nice size, is pretty decent. Now, because they're also quite big, it means that when you do attach it to the figure, there's going to be only so many poses or kind of movement of the arms that you're going to get, because this will end up knocking into the actual body of the figure too. But in terms of sculpt and everything, this looks pretty good. The paint is quite plain, but it's where it needs to be, with the red in the inner circle. Then the cross bit in the handles, you might say, is in black. But there's no like any extra details. There's not major detail here. So it's fine, it's fit for purpose, but it's cool that they gave you both. Now to attach it to the hand, I'm just going to pick one hand. So this is actually going to be his left hand. You can see the crevices that you need to kind of cross, the smash symbol you might call it, and then you can just line that up, and then hopefully it will kind of hold it in place. It's a bit hard to do because his hands are a little bit tiny. Even though his hands are tiny, they're not as tiny as other Nendoroids are. The Kingdom Hearts Nendoroid parts are a bit bigger than some of the other Nendoroids I've handled, for example the Twisted Wonderland stuff. So once you got the hand stuck in, it will look like that on the reverse side, and that's it. Then obviously attach it to the arm of choice too. I'm going to take the Keyblade off the figure before we talk about the figure here. He might fall down, that's okay. So this is his Keyblade, which looks really cool. I'm just going to get this bit out of the way. This is not on a real kind of chain or anything like that, no link, which is a shame. I do prefer that they are on real links. They just kind of add a little bit of extra finish and a nice touch to it, but it's okay. Nendoroids don't really do that all the time, so it's fine. You got his key charm at the end here, which is going to be basically a simplified version of his earlier weapon here, and that looks pretty good. And then the actual handle is a slightly non-simplified version of this, so simplified for the charm, and then it's basically the regular thing for the actual handle, which is pretty good as well. But you've only got the one kind of handle there, it's not a crisscross. And then the actual main blade is super cool looking, very cool fire effect there, so you can kind of see it's orange there, and it goes to a translucent orange here, which looks really nice. I really like the way that his Keyblade has turned out. It looks really, really good. Now having a closer look at the figure, so as I mentioned, his default arm, this right arm of his is actually the default arm. The hand isn't a default, it would be the fist when you get it out of the box. But this is actually the hand. The shoulders come off there. I'm just going to take off the hand there, just to show you that there. This holds onto that Keyblade, which we'll grab here. And I'll try and get that grip onto it. It's a bit weird. Like as I said earlier, I don't feel it holds snugly. And then depending on how you got it posed up, the Keyblade will still fall out. So yeah, I can't seem to get a snug fit on this. There we go. I feel like it's had a snug fit now, so maybe it's okay, and I just wasn't having much luck before. So that's the hand. I'm gonna leave the hand off now and then put his shoulder back on. So as I mentioned, with the default shoulder, you've got that more angled cut, so his arms sit straight down. You can swap it with the other shoulder, so his arms kind of point in a different angle instead. So for example, his left arm here. So I've already attached a different hand onto this as well, which is his got it memorized hand, so the one finger kind of pointing upwards as well. So that's pretty cool looking hand sculpt there. But in terms of actual look of the figure itself for Axel, looks very good. It's quite consistent with the other Kingdom Hearts Nendoroids, which is great. I love his hair. His hair needed to be perfect. I personally like it. I think it's great. I don't know, maybe I would have preferred slightly extra length, but you know, that's just me maybe wanting extra length for the sake of it. I think it looks excellent either way. The color of the reds, it's got shading here from the roots here, and then coming outwards is a bit much more brighter. Looks awesome as well. So his hair is very cool. He's got that one strand that does come a little bit out, which is awesome as well. That's really, really great detail to see. And you've even got a little different kind of shaped kind of the spikes going on, which is really, really nice. Overall, super awesome looking hair sculpt. Lots of spikes, of course, so don't drop it or anything. One thing I don't like about anime figures or Nendoroids is when they have so much spiky hair, I always get paranoid that when I do drop it, the actual tips of the kind of spikes will end up being blunt over time. So yeah, just be careful with that. All in all though, very, very nice looking head sculpt. Now in terms of face, this is not a default face. The default face, as I mentioned again, is going to be this one here. But this is my favorite face in this pack for sure. I just love this expression. And it's got the same sort of, you know, detail there of the eyes and the emerald green and then the eyebrows too. What I have added here though are the stickers. So you can see they do kind of have that gloss to them in different light. And they are like, if you kind of look on the outer side of the sticker, so from far away, you don't really see the outer rim, you might call it, the border, let's say. So you're really only going to see that when you look really up close to it. And to be honest, that kind of makes it a slightly, ever so slightly easier to place the stickers on. I may have done these a little bit kind of wonky, not too cleanly. It's very tricky to do. Again, be in a room where there's no sudden gust of wind and it's a clean room and you have some tweezers and things like that, because they are very, very tiny, as you can see, like my thumb. I'm a grown man, right? So these stickers are super tiny to do. But I think, you know, it's not the best job, but I think I did an okay job with it. Personally, I really prefer Axel with the teardrops on. That's just the look I prefer with him. If you don't want it, you can just not use the stickers. It's up to you. And if you want to change it, sure, you can remove the stickers too. It just means you've kind of used up a pair of stickers, right? So remember, you only get 18 on this sheet. So keep that in mind. And if you mess something up during application or removal, you know, you're going to have to use another one. So just keep that all in mind. But me personally, I like it with the stickers on it. And then, yeah, finishing off with this actual face sculpt. I love the kind of grin that he's got. It's quite, yeah, it's just quite confident. I really like it. Really, really good face sculpt there, or face expression there. Really like it. In terms of body sculpt and everything, the robe, the Organization 13 robe or jacket, clothing, whatever you want to call it, is good. It's pretty much the same thing as the Roxas one, which is fine. It even has that kind of little bit here. This one, yeah, you can see this one, a little peg. That comes off for me quite a bit here. But it's got that same kind of makeup that the Roxas one had as well. So it does allow you to articulate it to just kind of small degree, i.e. lifting the flap like that. And then that's what it will look like on the front. It's fine. It's okay. My one, for whatever reason, this particular side does come off quite a bit. So I'm going to leave that to the side. That gives us, or exposes his legs. His legs, or his boots in particular, are different from Roxas's one. Roxas had slightly different feet, slightly bigger feet overall, more like the Disney kind of stuff like Sora and Mickey Mouse did, and that makes a lot of sense. So Axel's tends to be a little bit more humanized, I guess, and the actual boot bit at the top is different as well compared to Roxas one, and that's fine too. Because he does have bigger feet, it does mean you don't always need to have the stand, but I would also recommend using a stand because his head is quite big because of his hair. But otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be all plain black, and then the sculpt is pretty simple as well, to be honest. Other than, say, these zippers and then the tassels here, it's really pretty simple design that Organization 13 robe has. You do have the hood as well that's down. You can't remove that like you could with Roxas one, but he was able to have the hooded option as well. And then you got the peg hole there for the stand, and then that's really it. So really simple body for this guy, pretty much what I expected, but he does look quite good. And I'm sure if you've got Roxas one or the other Kingdom Hearts figures of Nendoroid, this is going to look quite good with it. I've actually packed mine away, so sadly I can't do a comparison or a group shot with that. So we're only going to focus on Axel here and now. But let's swap some parts. So first, we'll just swap face parts. So pretty much the same as other Nendoroids, just grab the hair here. Now, depending on where you do it, you might pinch or poke yourself with the spikes on his hair. That's going to be inevitable here. Then just pull off the face and then swap it with whichever one that you want. So I'm going to go with the raised eyebrow, the people's eyebrow. I'm going to add that in right now. So again, I didn't add the reverse teardrop tattoo marking stickers on this face. Only one face is going to have them for me. I'm going to leave it on that face actually. And then we just got to place the hair back on. And there we go, that completes his head. And then we can just swap an arm. So this was the straight arm that we used. Let's put the Seesaw Ice Cream on because that's pretty cool. I'm not going to put the Keyblade because I started with the Keyblade. So this one already had the shoulder attached. Let me just show you that again. The shoulder here, the shoulder is attached there. And then you can add the main arm too. You can use the straight arm if you want, but it's going to look a bit weird because that's a bit more angled straight down. So now he's got the Seesaw Ice Cream posing with that. And we can swap the other arm as well. So even though he's got the Seesaw Ice Cream, let's equip the wheel weapon because I'll kind of demonstrate how it looks with him using that plus the actual limited range of motion because of how big they are. So how you want to do this is really up to you. I've already pre-attached the hand, so there we go. So you can see how big it is, and you're going to have to finesse and play around with the angle of things here. So I'm going to point it forwards, let's say, and there we go. That's kind of come out. So just reattach that back to the hand. It should be okay there. So you can see that the actual spikes on the wheel will end up colliding with his body pretty easily and pretty frequently. So you're going to be quite limited there, but you'll still be able to achieve some interesting poses and some fun poses with it. So don't worry too much about it. It's just going to require a little bit of work, but that's to be expected. But there we go. Seesaw Ice Cream and the wheel weapon as well, which probably doesn't look accurate to anything, but hey, it's an interesting look. Why not? But let's also add the Keyblade because that is a pretty good look to do. So we'll add the arm and keep the shoulder the same. And then let's attach the Keyblade. So I'm not going to do anything perfect here and now, but here we go. Here he is with the Keyblade. So here we go. That's how Axel looks with the Keyblade. Now remember, I haven't done it perfectly, but I really love this Keyblade. It's definitely one of my favorite bits of this whole product for sure. But yeah, just play around with it, finesse it, and then just do some fine tuning to get him into a perfect pose with the Keyblade or with these other pair of weapons if you want to do that, or just, you know, holding the Seesaw Ice Cream. But here his parts are falling off. To finish up, this is pretty much what I expected for the most part. The more surprising thing is actually the finish of that Keyblade being translucent on the main part. That's really cool to see. I really like that effect, and it's turned out really, really nice. His faces do also look good, but I do understand that some people may have preferred direct transfer for his teardrops, but I also understand why they provided the option to provide the plain face and then for us to add the stickers. The stickers, you're going to have to be very careful when you do apply them, so good luck there. His hair also looks great. I think that was another thing that people probably would have been very nitpicky on. Personally, I'm fine with the hair. I think it looks great. Just be careful not to blunt any of his spikes because every strand is basically a spike, right? But otherwise, it is pretty much what I expected. I didn't touch on the articulation too much because I think it's pretty obvious what he can and cannot do. Though I do wish he did have a knee bend. That would have been nice to kind of get a little bit of extra dynamic poses, but he doesn't have that, sadly. So coming up after this will be the Kyrie Nendoroid, and then following her will be Aqua. So stay tuned for those ones. In the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy.